find you.
Hello, Universe, and any of its parallel realms. I'm Joey, and I'm here to talk about, well, whatever I can quickly come up with that has anything to do with Halloween. So, we'll distract ourselves talking about candy and snack foods, some seasonal food, for a brief amount of time, but we'll get on to talking about more interesting stuff, such as, well, overall, some of the seasonal movies or movies that you'll see around this time of year include Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice, and Ghostbusters 2. Well, what were those movies really rated? And perhaps is this a reminder that Ghostbusters 2 was often condemned unfairly as just a way to make it look like rebooting Ghostbusters was a good idea with this new 2016 movie? When you look at how in a neutral setting Ghostbusters 2 is rated, yeah, it looks like that might be the case. Perhaps we'll find a toy that somehow is very appropriate for this season. And perhaps we'll even take a look at a video game that is very appropriate to this time of year. One of the things I like about the season is candy. I don't normally eat that much candy, despite the fact I'm a bit of a big fat bastard. I'm not that way specifically because of candy. And what I like about this is Coffin Crisp. How do you make a coffee crisp even better? Coffin Crisp. I love that novelty. It's disgusting. It's great. It's fucking great. Coffin Crisp. Coffin Crisp. Yeah, Coffin Crisp. I like that. Yeah. All these little Coffin Crisp chocolate bars and stuff like that. It's the reason for the season. Pretty fucking good for, you know, something with coffin in the name. Alright. Every October, you gotta expect to see some Halloween-themed movies, which basically means supernatural movies. And the three that I always see every year and always look forward to seeing over and over again, even though I have them on DVD, I'll watch them again on television: Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and Beetlejuice. And as I look at these movies, I can't help but think about Ghostbusters 2016. And how when it came out, a lot of people demonized Ghostbusters 2 as proof you could never make another good Ghostbusters movie unless you rebooted the franchise. Blah blah blah, whatever. It was nonsense, especially considering the real Ghostbusters showed us you could do lots of great stories in the universe of Ghostbusters. Extreme Ghostbusters also showed us very clearly that you could do a new team of Ghostbusters as a follow-up to the old team. And do great stories with that as well, too. But let's take a look at Ghostbusters. Now, when I look at the satellite guide when it came on television, Ghostbusters itself was rated, according to whomever decides this at the TV networks, as 4.5 stars out of 5. That's a pretty impressive rating. Beetlejuice managed to get a 4 out of 5 stars. Not quite as high as Ghostbusters, but pretty damn impressive. Ghostbusters 2? Well, the weaker of the three, according to whoever rated these movies. It got 3.5 stars. Yeah, it's almost 4 stars. Considering halfway, 50% would only be 2.5 stars. So, 3 stars would probably be good average. I would say it's gotta be above average. Look, I'm not sure how people really judge these movies, but I've never thought of Ghostbusters 2 as a bad movie, and it's taken a lot of heat in this last year by people who've been trying to justify Ghostbusters 2016. Basically by saying Ghostbusters 2 was bad, therefore, if you want more Ghostbusters, it has to be a reboot. Screw that. Ghostbusters 2 was just fine. Might not have been as good as the original, but hey, some people apparently like it. What would go with a Coffin Crisp? I don't know, crunchy rib cage. Crumpy rib... crumpy... Can't say words right now. A crunchy rib cage from the Bag of Bones. Yeah, Bag of Bones and Coffin crisp. Yum, yum. Here we have, from questionable origin, here she is, Kylie Griffin, a real kick-ass Ghostbuster from Extreme Ghostbusters. And here she is in her sexy witch costume and splattered with ectoplasma. She's here to show us something. No, it's not what's under the bikini. This video, I couldn't upload this video to the places I wanted to upload if that's what she was going to show us. No, it's going to be a toy. Yes, she's here in her sexy witch's Halloween costume to bring us a toy. A Halloween toy of sorts. Sam Hain. Now, Sam Hain was introduced in the real Ghostbusters as kind of a spirit of Halloween. So if you were to follow the real Ghostbusters continuity, that would indicate, although the Ghostbusters fought him first, Sam Hain's origins would have to post-date the Boogaloo creature, which apparently predated Halloween. And I'm not going to get into too many details on that right now. But hey, look for any DVDs you can find of the real Ghostbusters. It was an excellent series. It had some down points, but it had more high points than low points. So I greatly recommend that series. And Extreme Ghostbusters is an underrated but amazing follow-up, which deals with a new generation of Ghostbusters who came about in the mid-1990s, around 1997, and continued the work of the Ghostbusters under the mentorship of Egon Spengler. Now, Sam Hain, the spirit of Halloween, his name, when it's spelled as one single name and not two parts, is spelled the same as Samhain. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Every now and then I pronounce it correctly. But it's basically an ancient traditional holiday of sorts that it seems as though Halloween is based on. Basically involves some ancient beliefs and the idea that at a certain time of year, the netherworld was closer to the world of the living. And yeah, I'm using extremely layman's general terms here. Just basically a way of saying that the afterlife realms were a little bit closer to what we think of as the world. They were just a little bit closer to being connected at that point in time. And there were festivals and celebrations to do with that time. Thus was the celebrations of Samhain. And how do you spell Samhain? Well, if you were to spell the letters out, in our contemporary usage of the Roman alphabet, it would look like it's supposed to be pronounced Sam Hain. And the spirit of Halloween is known as Sam Hain in the Ghostbusters mythos. And J. Michael Straczynski has actually commented on that I guess he intended the character to be pronounced Samhain, but they called him Sam Hain. And why not? Why not call him Sam Hain? It's spelled Sam Hain. You know, if he's a creature from one time or another, speaking our language now, you know, he could translate. The rib cage. A hand, yeah. I think this might be a femur. last October there was a video which, in the loosest sense, this could be considered a sequel or continuation of that video. In a sense, it expands upon some of what you may see in that video, in ways that you might not understand unless you saw that video. However, there was also a sequel I almost uploaded, which I'll probably finish editing, which didn't get finished editing due to technical problems I was having at the time, so I just put it aside. But the data's still there and might eventually get edited. Yeah, the sequel to last year's Halloween-themed October episode was a February episode that was Valentine's Day themed. Yeah, seems strange, but there was a little bit at the end that connected the two. But also, I did another Halloween-themed episode of Neo Retro News, not video logs. I suppose this is more of a video log than a news thing anyway, where I talked about some crazy religious propaganda going around. It's nothing new, in fact it seems very old, but very old mentality about how certain things lead to demonic possession. That's what they believe. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy image that has been going around social media like Facebook a while ago. Vegetarianism's on the list, as is video games at Halloween. Those are the ones that stand up to me. And basically, if it's cool, it's going to lead you to demonic possession. However, that said, I think we can lead into a video game now. That's right, we're going to talk about a video game. And you may have already guessed what video game it is. In a time of year when people have traditionally celebrated a time that was believed to be a connection between the worlds of nature and the supernatural, in a time like that, that is Halloween, what better game to talk about than Doom? What other game could possibly put such a interesting and gruesome science fiction twist on the concept? In Doom, you play as, well, kind of a space marine of sorts. Yeah, you're in the army, I guess. Military. But that's okay, you're not all bad. You previously had assaulted a superior officer who ordered his men to fire on civilians. So you're actually a pretty stand-up guy. However, for standing up for civilians, you got a job downgrade. You got sent to Mars, or the moons of Mars. And while you're working on the moons of Mars, well, they've invented a teleporter. They've been teleporting things back and forth between the moons of Mars. And people who have used the teleporter have suddenly begun to go crazy and die and become zombies. And demonic life forms start coming through from a parallel universe that the transporter has somehow breached the connection between this universe and what appears to be hell. So you have to kick ass. And you know what? I'm not that big on weapons and first-person shooters, but I always loved the control in Doom. And I've always had a special spot in my heart for the 32X version of Doom. I also sometimes play the Super Nintendo version. There's the Nintendo 64 version, which I could play more often, but I find it too dark and hard to see, and that really annoys me. Oh, there's the shareware version for the Sega Dreamcast. And there's other versions of Doom, but the 32X version was always special to me. Yeah, the sound, well, the music is pretty simple, but I thought it made for good mood music. Some people don't like that the video is boxed in a little bit smaller. That never bothered me once. What I always loved about this version of the game, and I'm not sure how well my video capture attempt really shows this, is you can see things so very well. Sure, things might be pixelated, something off in the distance might just be a small little pixel, but you can see that pixel in the background. This game always had great contrast, especially this version of the game. I always found it played responsive, quick, and incredibly fun. I've always enjoyed this version of Doom. And although I'm not much for projectile weapons, I do like energy weapons, so I've always enjoyed getting the plasma blaster. And when it comes to projectile weapons, I always prefer the ones that shoot off bullets fast, as opposed to things like the shotgun that have a lot of impact all at once. See, most enemies, when you blast them with anything, they recoil for a second, or they react for a second. And that gives you a second to shoot again and again and again if you have a weapon that unloads really, really quick. So it's almost like continuous fire. But you know what? Whatever works, whatever you have on hand, just grab it and blast at these demonic things. I've always found Doom to be an incredibly fun game. I don't play it a whole lot, but every now and then I go back to it. It's definitely a game I really enjoyed from the era it came from. And I actually enjoy it more than most first-person shooters today. And I really enjoy the simple controls that it had, too. And Doom, with its science fiction twist on opening a breach between this world and what's basically hell, has a nice science fiction twist on that concept. Yeah, Doom is great. And a great game to play on Halloween, a time of year that's based on old traditions that involve connections between the world of the natural and the world of the supernatural. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. You know, I don't normally ask people to click like, but hey, watch lots of my videos and click like on them all. That would make me happy. Where have all the skulls gone? Oh, there's one. There, everybody thinks skulls are cool. Well, just about everybody. A skull. If you enjoyed it, yeah, feel free to watch more. There's plenty of suggestions out there. There's even the video that was done last year that was Halloween themed. Actually, more than one video that was Halloween themed. Forget the safe word. Things are gonna get weird. But yeah, feel free to check out more. And really, this video isn't over yet. But we're getting close. Ray? Where are you, Ray? Pete, something happened to my proton pack. I don't know where it is. It's showtime! Oh shit, Pete, he's got my proton pack! Ah!